Have you ever wondered why a revolver designed for hunting elk became America's most feared street weapon? Half precision hunting tool, half cinematic intimidation device, and half cultural phenomenon that police departments never wanted civilians to own. Well, buckle up, because the Model 29.44 Magnum wasn't just Clint Eastwood's movie prop. It was actually a specialized hunting firearm that Hollywood accidentally turned into the most requested handgun in American history, causing shortages that lasted for years. People assume the movie made up that most powerful handgun line for drama. Wrong. Dead wrong. That claim was technically accurate in 1971, and gun manufacturers had the ballistics data to prove it. And trust me, number one will make you rethink everything you thought you knew about Hollywood's influence on firearms culture. So hit that subscribe button, smash that like, and let's dive into the wasteland of Hollywood gun myths. But before we start, what weapon would you choose? Number 1. It almost wasn't a handgun at all. The early script drafts for Dirty Harry featured an older cop carrying a sawed-off shotgun, not a revolver. The character was written as tired and worn down, not intimidating. When Eastwood joined the project, the production team decided a shotgun would be too clumsy for a plainclothes detective. The Model 29 became the next biggest thing available that a detective might conceivably carry. This last-minute script change accidentally created one of cinema's most iconic weapons and forever altered America's firearms culture. Number 2. Elmer Keith's tough guy legacy. The .44 Magnum was created by legendary outdoorsman Elmer Keith, who spent years literally blowing up .44 special revolvers to develop more powerful loads. The very first production Model 29 went to General George S. Patton's son, cementing its tough guy pedigree long before Hollywood discovered it. Keith's obsession with creating a handgun powerful enough to drop elk at 100 yards unknowingly established the perfect weapon for Harry Callahan's uncompromising character. This wasn't a gun designed for police work. It was engineered for wilderness survival and big game hunting. Number 3. The price explosion that broke gun stores pre-movie. A Model 29 cost about $140, roughly $1,000 in today's money. Within weeks of the film's release, prices skyrocketed to $400 to $500, more than triple the original cost. Waiting lists stretched for months, then years. Scalpers began buying every Model 29 they could find without even purchasing ammunition. People wanted to own the Dirty Harry gun, regardless of its practicality. This price spike created a secondary market frenzy that lasted for years, with gun stores implementing strict waiting lists as demand dramatically outstripped supply. Some dealers stopped taking deposits altogether because they couldn't guarantee delivery dates. Number 4. The shoulder holster was a costume nightmare. The 3-pound loaded revolver was nearly impossible to conceal in a shoulder rig without obvious printing. The costume department had to completely reconstruct Eastwood's jackets with extra chest room and reinforced shoulder seams. They stiffened the jacket linings to hide the massive cylinder bulge that would otherwise be visible. This holster setup was more Hollywood illusion than practical police gear. Real detectives would never carry such an unwieldy weapon concealed. The weight distribution alone would make it impractical for daily wear, creating yet another unrealistic expectation about firearms. Number 5. The sequel contradicted its own power claims. In Magnum Force, Harry casually reveals he uses weaker .44 special loads, not full-power Magnums. This completely contradicts the first movie's emphasis on raw stopping power. The .44 special rounds generate ballistics comparable to standard .45 ACP ammunition. Powerful, but nowhere near the bone-crushing force that made the gun famous. This means Harry's own most powerful handgun claim becomes technically false, by his own admission. The sequel accidentally undermined its predecessor's central premise, but most viewers never caught this detail. Number 6. The gun was written as a character flaw screenwriter. John Milius chose the Model 29 as a deliberate character flaw, not an aspirational symbol. He intended it to show Harry was unhinged and overcompensating. The hunting cannon was meant to be a weakness, visual shorthand for a detective who had crossed into vigilantism. Audiences completely missed this satirical element and instead interpreted the massive revolver as the ultimate symbol of law enforcement authority. What was intended as commentary on police excess transformed into a cultural power fantasy that resonated for decades. Number 7. Custom grips for Eastwood's giant hands. Standard factory grips were nicknamed knuckle dusters due to painful recoil. The prop master fitted custom Coke bottle-style grips specifically for Eastwood's large hands, allowing him to handle the weapon with casual arrogance on camera. These oversized grips enabled his signature one-handed shooting style that became so iconic. Without these modifications, the famous scenes of Harry confidently aiming his massive revolver would have been much more difficult to film convincingly. These custom grips became an integral part of the gun's screen appearance and influenced aftermarket grip designs for decades. Number 8. It literally saved the gun from extinction. Before Dirty Harry, Smith Wesson was planning to discontinue the Model 29 due to poor sales. The company was ready to scrap the expensive specialized tooling required for manufacturing the oversized end-frame revolver. Within weeks of the film's release, they had a 12-month backorder list that grew longer daily. The movie single-handedly rescued an entire product line from corporate death. Without Dirty Harry, the Model 29 would likely have become a historical footnote rather than a continuing production item, demonstrating Hollywood's extraordinary economic impact on consumer products. Number 9. The barrel-length optical illusion. Fans debated for decades whether Harry used a 6.5-inch or 8.375-inch barrel model. Cinematographer Bruce Surtees used wide-angle lenses positioned close to the gun for forced perspective, making the revolver appear dramatically longer than its actual dimensions. The screen gun was definitively the 6.5-inch barrel version, but camera tricks made it look much larger. This optical illusion was so effective that it fooled even experienced gun experts. The visual deception enhanced the weapon's intimidating screen presence and contributed significantly to its mythological status. Number 10. The sequel had to write around gun shortages. By 1983's sudden impact, Model 29s remained nearly impossible to source for filming. The writers created a plot point where Harry loses his gun to justify switching to the .44 Automag pistol, which was actually available for production. The gun shortage lasted over a decade after the original movie. This wasn't just creative license, it was production necessity. Hollywood had to adapt storylines around real-world supply problems that the franchise itself had created, representing a unique instance of entertainment confronting the commercial consequences of its own success. Number 11. Eastwood's blanks were Hollywood monsters, standard .44. Magnum blanks didn't produce enough muzzle flash for dramatic effect. The prop department created custom loads packed with extra powder to generate the massive flame and thunderous boom that became the gun's signature on screen. These cinema-specific loads were significantly louder than even real ammunition, engineered for visual impact rather than ballistic performance. While these blanks created more dramatic flash and sound, they generated less actual recoil than live ammunition, allowing Eastwood to maintain his steady aim during firing sequences. Number 12. The movie gun was a fake, sometimes production couldn't secure enough authentic Model 29s due to limited availability. For several scenes, they secretly substituted the visually similar Smith Wesson Model 57 in .41 Magnum caliber. To untrained eyes, these revolvers appear nearly identical, allowing filmmakers to cheat during certain shots. This prop substitution remained hidden from audiences for decades. Even the movie that made the gun famous couldn't get enough real ones for filming, an ironic foreshadowing of the supply problems that would follow its release. Number 13. Frank Sinatra's wrist couldn't handle the beast. Sinatra was originally cast as Harry Callahan before Eastwood. During preliminary production, the Model 29's substantial 3-pound weight aggravated Sinatra's hand condition, Dupuytren's contracture. The gun was literally too heavy for old Blue Eyes to lift comfortably for extended filming. This physical limitation forced him to drop out, creating the opening that Eastwood would fill. This casting change accidentally created the perfect match between actor and weapon. Had Sinatra remained in the role, the Model 29 might never have achieved its legendary status. Number 14. The most powerful claim was technically a lie. Harry's famous declaration about carrying the most powerful handgun in the world wasn't actually true in 1971. The .454 Casull Wildcat cartridge already existed and generated significantly more energy than the .44 Magnum. However, no mass-produced commercial revolver chambered for it was widely available until 1983. This technicality made Harry's claim true in spirit, if not in absolute ballistic fact. The movie's assertion fooled millions of viewers who accepted it without question. Even ballistics experts rarely bothered correcting the popular misconception, allowing Hollywood's version of reality to supersede technical accuracy in shaping public perception. And there you have it, 14 weird, wild, and downright unbelievable facts about the gun that accidentally became America's most wanted weapon. The Model 29 wasn't just a movie prop. It was a cultural phenomenon that changed how we think about power, authority, and what makes a hero. So now I want to hear from you. Which fact shocked you the most? Drop your thoughts in the comments. Hit that like button if you enjoyed this deep dive, and make sure to subscribe for more insane behind-the-scenes stories that prove Hollywood's influence goes way beyond the screen.